Hi guys, I'm Brad, also known as the Crane and Train Guy. I've been asked several times on how I make my mock trains and how I make them reliable and also how I make them so detailed. So I'm going to do a few videos covering all that. Today's video though is I'm going to start with the basics and just start doing the internals and the on how to plan things out that way. So I'm just going to just touch bases on a few things and go from there. This is my Maersk mock train that I built. Obviously it's a lot bigger than the Lego version that they released several years ago. But for today's video I'm going to use it as a demonstration. Almost all of the Lego sets that come motorized will come with a motor like this. Well, the downside with one of these motors is your spacing on the axles. You can't change them. And if you're trying to do something special as far as realistic mock like this, which is made for minifig scale, well, you can't really do it. So I've actually build mine like this. This is how I build my trucks. Now this is just basically some Technic beams, bricks underneath, and the nice thing is you can space these out different lengths. So when you want an axle there and one there, you just use longer beams, longer axles, you stretch it out. From there, let me take this off. I put one of these plates on like that to help hold the top. You can do it a little differently, but remember, this is just the basics. We're not getting into the details yet. So we go from there, then we have an axle that goes up with your gear like so. It goes on top. We put one of your round plates that just snap on there. Then we built your deck, which is your main deck that holds all your train and fuel tank and all that. So that's what that would be for spacing. Okay, from there I use the power function motors. And when you hook your axles up like so, your drivetrain, I like to support them on the top and on the bottom, so that way your axle does not flex away from your gears. And there's several different ways you can build this, and you can also gear it up or gear it down, all depending on if you want the train to go slow, fast, pull a lot of weight, whatever. I've actually got most of mine geared up just a tiny little bit. A few I've actually geared down because they're for like in the rail yards. Okay, so from there we go into how we actually power these things. Now Lego has their battery box, power functions, and they have the receiver. Now I know that they've now switched to power up, which this is all the same with a different motor, but it's basically the same. And we just have to figure out when we build our train where we're going to place this inside internally. Okay, how I do my trains is I use a BuWiz. BuWiz, this is the battery, and it's also the Bluetooth all in one. The nice thing about this is I can recharge it. I can plug it in on one. I've got 3 more open up. I run on mine. I run LED lights, so I will actually do a video on that also, on how I do my own lighting to actually make all your lights and stairways and all that light up on this. So that is what I use, that. So you just have to imagine that I've got one of these motors in the front, one in the back like that, and then I hide this somewhere internally or down below, whatever, wherever I can find space for it. Now I usually always build my trains with two motors, one in the front, one in the back. Make it four-wheel drive. I've tried it once just putting one motor in, but I can only pull so many rail cars before it just spins out and it'll just slip. So I've always just put two motors in everything, two gear trains, and it's worked great. I think that is basically it for the main functions and what it requires. Now, the secret sauce for me on the bottom of these trucks is I actually take a base plate. Right here you can see where I'll take a base plate and I'll actually cut it. The reason why I cut it is because the gears are a little lower than the brick itself, so the gears would hit it. Now when you start putting a lot of pressure, power, torque through these things, your bricks will want to separate. The example I've got is this right here. You can actually see the bottom, and if you take and lock it up and start turning, it'll pop apart one way or it'll pop apart the other way. So that base plate will lock that into place, because if you take another plate and stick on there, you can see when you put it on, it's the same height, which is not good, because when you have a plate across there or a switch, something like that, that will hit. It'll knock off your train, you'll derail. That's why I do a base plate, sacrifice a base plate, and it's half the thickness, and it'll snap on and it'll lock, and you won't have an issue with your Technic bricks coming apart. That's the secret that I found. I'm sure there's tons of other things that people have done to make things to make it lock in there, but that's what I've done, and it's worked great. I've done several shows that way and have had no issues. I'm actually thinking about, as an example for everyone, if they want, I can actually start building another train. I haven't built one for a year or two. Need to build a new one for the next show. If you guys want to actually see me start putting all this together and how the process that I go through, let me know in the comments below, and let me know whether you guys want me to do a diesel or a steam. Right now I'm thinking I'm going to do a diesel, but let me know in the comments and I'll take you through the processes as I build it and show everybody how it's done, how I do it anyway. Alright, thank you for watching.